Today we're going to show you how to mount a rear fender using the Sled fender and our Sled strut kit. First of all, what you want to do is you need to get your rear tire on with the chain. So get your motor in, get your sprockets on, throw your rear wheel on with the chain. And what I like to do is tighten your chain a little bit tighter than what you normally would, just because you're going to get, if it's a brand new chain, you're going to get a little bit of chain stretch on it anyway, so it's not going to hurt to, for your first initial fender measurements, to just tighten that chain up pretty good. So there's a couple methods you can do here. Once you get your wheel in, you want the wheel to be centered with the backbone here, and you want your chain lined up with the rear sprocket and the front sprocket. One of the easiest methods to do is just simply grab a string, hold it up front in the middle of the backbone, and just come down, line that up with the middle of the tire. Make sure your string's, even with the backbone down through the middle. Then you can literally just look at your chain and see if your chain is straight or offset. You can put a straight edge down through there if you wanted to. They also have fancy lasers you can clip on there, but I don't think it's necessary to get that technical with it. All right, first off, you don't want to lay your fender right on top of your tire. And some of these old school tires like this that are bias ply actually grow a little bit at higher speeds. So what I like to use is just a chain, like a 520 chain. Lay it centered down the middle. I've found that gives you enough space. This is our old school 6-inch fender. It's made for this taller rubber. You put it on so you got a nice gap back here in the back. Still holds tight to the fender and the tire, but at least tall enough to let you have some tire stretch. So with the Sled fender, when we sell it to you, you get a whole half of a fender. So that gives you plenty of fender to work with when you're turning it to the position you want. So this is simply cosmetic at this point on how and where you want to position your fender. So on this bike, we want, say about 11 o'clock is roughly how far I want this to look. So at this point, you need to mark it. You got to mark a chain cut out here. What I like to do is go pretty high because the chain will flex quite a bit on top, and if you get too close, you'll hit your fender here, chip off your paint, all that kind of stuff. So I like to come up a good, say 2 inches. Seems pretty good. You can just kind of rough this out a little bit, and then on the inside, I'd give yourself at least, say, a 1/2 inch from the inside of your chain there. So by the time we're done, it's going to cut down like this, evenly, all the way to the bottom. And on this bike, I like to, with this bottom frame rail, that's where I like to cut my fenders off, straight across. So, I'll kind of mark that down here. So we take the fender out. At this point, we'll be able to just cut the fender straight off where we want it. We'll mark this, get a little bit more precise, draw out our chain cut out, cut that out, clean it up, then we'll put it back on and drill for the bungs. All right, here's what comes in the fender strut kit. You get 2 of your bent rods. You'll want to cut these to size. These are the rounded bungs that go to the top of the strut kit. These are the countersunk bungs that go to the bottom of the strut kit. And then here's your fender to frame boss bungs there.
That might be it.
These bottom counterbore
You might have to
bungs.
get the axle.
If you buy a Sled frame,
We'll just have to
this
clean that
hole is
up a
already
little still.
cut out and drilled for a 3/8/16 tap. So you can simply just tap that right out. This will screw right in there. Screw that on both sides. Good spot to start. So now we got the fender ready to go. We got the chain cut out on it. We got the fender cut to the length we want it cut. So now you can slide it on here. Get it to where you want it, where you've cut it. You know, like I said, we got 2.5 inch there for chain clearance. That should be good. And then over here, 2 frame boss bungs, you'll bring those over here. These are long and they're made to cut to whatever length you need. So, you know, once you get everything where you need it, you can cut the bung to the length you need. And then over here, you're gonna mark your fender so you can bolt that from the inside. And then you'll come up to this frame rail, do the same thing. Mark the bung the length you need, drill your hole over here. That's gonna mount both left side of the fender. If you do this strut kit, you don't need anything on the front of the fender, especially with the thickness of our fenders. They're nice and stout. Then what you'll want to do is the 2 top strut bungs. You'll put these up here, measure those where they need to be. Make sure your tire's centered. You'll drill your holes from that and bolt this bung to that.
From the inside.
From the inside. Once you have that bolted on, you're gonna bring your longer strut here, measure it, cut it to length, and weld it together here to connect these 2 bungs. So you'll be mounted on both sides here, and then up on the top frame rail and the bottom frame rail on the other side.